I wasn't going to share this, but we're all over the topic right now. And you mentioned the French Laundry in the book a few times. Um, so I had the experience to go out there a few years ago with my wife, actually my business partner, Sean, and his wife. And then we had like kind of wine royalty that was there with us as well. And so I'm sure we got treated a little more nicely than if we were just, two standard Kansas guys rolling out to French Laundry. But hospitality and how you just explained it, we had, the typical over the top French Laundry, a multiple course meal. And we had been wine tasting that day. And so when they asked us what we would like to drink that evening, pretty lame joke. I was like, "Hey, do you have any Keystone Light?" Because growing up as a growing up as a Kansas farm boy, that was kind of what was on the menu back in the day. And the response from the wait staff was, "Would you like Keystone Light, sir?" It wasn't yes or no. It was, "Would you like?" And I was like, "No, I'm just joking. I think we have a wine pairing with this." And about two courses in, they parade a bucket of Keystone Lights in, like orchestrated. They slap down UFC coasters in front of us. They they put they put the Keystone on ice in the middle, a big old bucket, and about six wait staff in unison grab the Keystone Light, crack them, place them down in unison on the UFC coasters. And still, as I think about that entire meal and the incredible food, the incredible wine pairings, that's what sticks out is they were listening and they sent somebody down the road to buy probably a $6
Yeah.
six pack of Keystone Light. And that to me defines hospitality. They made that night special and they made us laugh, right? We were like,
They
wow, did
cared
not see
enough to
that coming.
listen and then to do something with what they heard. And by the way, yeah, like that restaurant, French Laundry, is, arguably some of the best food in the world. And maybe you remember one or two of the dishes you had, maybe,
Yeah.
but you will never forget what they did for you there. And anyone listening to this understands that in a very deep human way, right? No one listening to this would be like, wow, that's weird. How does he remember that and not the foie gras course, right? It's
Mhm.
obvious. And yet, so many people still aren't doing things like that for their clients. And it's just one of the most obvious moves in the world. Like they spent 95% of, not even 95, 99% of their time on whatever dishes you ate and 1% of it on that random move. And that 1% dominates your entire memory of it. And so if people out there could invest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% on these kind of gestures, no longer reserving their best efforts only for the product they're selling their customers, but on these little things that make those customers feel a genuine sense of belonging. Not only is it going to make a lot of people super happy, not only does it result in what I believe is always the case, a more profitable business, but it also just feels really freaking good. It's fun.